Welcome to DBL. As you can see, I'm Tori and in for Sam, and yet we have to talk to Sam today because we're very, very proud of her. How many of you are sick and tired of hearing story after story, day after day about gun violence in America? Are you shaking your head? Because guns are the #1 killer of kids. And despite this chilling fact, real and serious legislation to tackle the problem seems more and more like a pipe dream. Well, today, here in Colorado, thousands of women from across the country are pushing for gun reform. They are staging an all-day sit-in at the Capitol in Denver, demanding that Governor Polis take action. And among the protesters is our very own, with tears in my eyes, so proud to say it, Sam Schacher. She is there with a number of celebrities, including Lake Bell. Here's what they said about it on CNN this morning.
Children being murdered in their schools, or having teens kind of take a wrong turn on a driveway or knock on someone's door and getting gunned down is unacceptable.
It's unacceptable.
I think that's just sort of sensible.
We need to shape a new social norm. First of all, it's there. A lot of people are afraid to say the quiet parts out loud, that more guns equal more death. We are so ingrained in gun culture in this country that it's hard to say that and acknowledge it out loud.
She doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk. For more on this, Sam Schacher joins us live from the Capitol. Thank you for being here.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me. I miss you over there.
We miss you.
Sam, we are so proud of you. We know you've been there all morning and will continue to be there. So talk to us about what it is you and all of these other women are demanding today.
So we are demanding for Governor Polis to...
Okay.
I know, believe me, as somebody who on the show is always like, listen, I like to reach across the aisle, and we have Republicans here, we have Democrats here, we have parents here. I'm a mom. When guns is the #1 killer of teens and children, that's where everything changes for me. We've lost our way in this country. I'm very proud of our country. I want us to do better. Simple as that. I mean, what do you guys think? We always talk about this on the show. I want it to be a conversation. I think that's where we shine.
Right.
So I don't have all the answers. We're sick and tired of living this way.
Sam, I'll jump in, and I appreciate you kind of opening this up to a conversation, because asking you questions is super weird. You're the homie.
Hey, Sam.
Sam Schacher, am I saying that right? We get viewer feedback. You read these, and there is a large chunk of the country and a large chunk of our panel that are responsible gun owners, and they're going to push back when they hear, wait, what? You want to ban all guns? That's not going to happen. Why don't you guys just go for assault rifles or something? So what would you say to somebody that's saying, why don't you just ban assault rifles and be happy with that?
I hear them. I do. And I want to ban assault rifles. We are pushing for that as well. But we have to start somewhere. And as somebody that's been on the ground floor, whether it's this or Mom's Demand, we've tried for common sense gun legislation for a decade now, for more than a decade, since Sandy Hook, since Columbine. So we're kind of at the point now where this is a last-ditch effort. I hate saying that, but it's true. We don't know what else to do, because everything else that we've tried to do, from reaching across the aisle to common sense gun legislation, it's not working. I mean, we have 19,000 people that have died to guns this year alone, and we're not even halfway through the year. It's the #1 cause of death, again, to kids and teens. So this is a national crisis. This is an emergency. And what I would say to AR-15s, yes, I want those banned. Nobody should have an AR-15, but it's only 3 to 5% of that's the statistic when it comes to gun violence and gun death in this country. It's only 3 to 5% is responsible by an assault weapon. So, it's a little bit of a dog whistle when 97% of gun deaths are in areas where it's predominantly Black, brown, and Indigenous people. So it's like, if you want to protect all the kids out there, not just maybe white kids, if you want to protect all kids, then we really need to reevaluate our obsession with guns in this country. But I understand the other side's point of view. I used to think that way a handful of months ago. I mean, does this sound crazy to you all? I need to hear from you. This is a new social norm that we're trying to develop, and it might be a marathon, not a sprint.
Sam, I'm so proud of you and the work that you're putting into this. Honestly, you are an inspiration. But I want to know, not just you, there's other women that are joining you today that are all around you. We can see them. What's brought them out as well to this stage, to this sit-in?
Listen, Steph, it's as much as there's hope here and love here, there's a lot of pain and grief. There's a lot of people holding pictures of their babies that they do not have anymore due to guns. There's a lot of survivors and parents of Columbine, from other states too, from mass shootings to East High. We have some students here that have been through multiple mass shootings. And it's just this somber energy of people. I mean, there's so much support, but there's a lot of trauma and healing. And we always talk about mental health on our show too. If we think we have a mental health crisis now, the amount of trauma that we are putting our youth in, just doing active shooter drills and watching their friends and die and all this stuff, it's only going to get worse. So again, this is a crisis and we need to act now because it's out of control. I feel crazy saying that we need to act now. We should have acted 20 years ago.
Amen. Amen.
But you know, Sam, as you're talking, you're saying everybody has been impacted by this, but you know, my friend Jermaine Mitchell was murdered bringing fast food home to his daughter, who's probably 18 or so now, you know, and it's just like this was pre kind of internet almost. But I just remember thinking, as you were talking, how many times I've thought about him and how close his family was. And, you know, the look on his mother's face when I went to console her is something that'll stay with me for the rest of my life. And I remember people that we've interviewed on the show in their faces, like even before we started the interview, when we can see them and the country can, and it's something that sticks with you, and that's inside of all of us Americans, like where we were when we heard these things, and we just kind of have to report it as news and be sterile. But I think that it takes something that like what you're doing and a bunch of people getting behind it before real change comes, because you have to fight for everything.
Thank you, Al, and thank you for sharing that story.
Absolutely.
You've talked to me about that before, and what you just shared with me is what I've heard over and over and over and over again today. In fact, we had two young men approach us from Amsterdam, and they were so confused because they don't have this problem. And they're aware of it because it's all over their news, the gun violence here in our country. And again, I want our country to do better. I'm very, you know, a daughter of veterans. I'm prideful. I want us to do better. But these two, it was a very sobering moment because they did not understand. They were reading our signs, and then we were telling them what kids have to go through during lockdowns. One of the moms here was saying her kid had a lockdown the other day, and, you know, they're older kids and they're going to the bathroom in buckets, and it's, you know, it's no way to live. And they were just shocked that this is our norm here. We've accepted this as our norm. We don't have to.
That's right. The moms and the women have not, though. The governor, though, has responded, Sammy, to your demands. I'm going to quote you on what he said and then give you the floor. He says, quote, will not issue an unconstitutional order that will be struck down in court simply to make a public relations statement. He will continue, though, to focus on real solutions. Again, Sam, what is your response? Go ahead.
Listen, I get it. It is unconstitutional. I get it, but the Constitution is meant to change. There's amendments. You know, we abolished slavery. Women are allowed to vote. So it's supposed to be. It's also supposed to represent the will of the people and the morality. And right now, the Second Amendment is not serving us. Maybe we need a pause. Again, I don't have all the answers, but right now, when the #1 cause of death is children and teens, I think we all need to say, okay, the common denominator here is guns, and what are we going to do to protect our children? What are we going to do about it? And that's where I'm coming from. Everybody here is coming from a place of, you don't have to have a kid to care about. I mean, we're all affected. You can go to a farmer's market, wherever you go, a Walmart. I mean, it affects all of us, a place of worship. So everyone here is just sick and tired. They're sick and tired.
Sam, you know, we have politicians that will push back on you. You know, Nikki Haley, who's running for president, she held a town hall on CNN yesterday, and she came out totally against red flag laws. She was like, you know, I don't trust the government to deal with red flag laws. I don't trust that they won't take them away from me and people like me that rightfully deserve them. So what would you say to Governor Haley?
I think what's tough for a lot of us constituents is understanding, and I'll say this to Democrats too, this is not just Republicans. A lot of our politicians are in bed with the NRA, and if it's not the NRA, it's other lobbying groups that are tied into the NRA. So you think that somebody is not getting money from, you know, to fund their campaign. If we took money out of politics, I think Nikki Haley and a lot of people would think a lot clearer with their morality and their humanity. I mean, this is a national crisis. But she's wrong. I mean, I'll admit when she says things that are right. There's some things that she says that I cheer her on. I champion her. But this is wrong. We have decades of data that show us that the more gun legislation that we have, the less death that we have. We can look to other countries. We can look to our precedent in 1994 when we banned assault weapons. So The 10 safest cities have the 10 safest or most strict gun control regulation, including red flag laws. Is it enough? No, because we're still living in this vicious cycle, and gun violence has increased by 50% since last year alone. So that's alarming. But Nikki Haley needs to look at the data again, because she's wrong.
I completely agree with you on that, Sam. I think inconvenience, like a red flag law, does not mean infringement, and I think we should stand by that strongly. Sam, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck today.
Guys. I love you.
At the protest. We love you so much. DBL Nation, listen up for more info on Here for the Kids. You can check out their website at here4, it's the number 4, thekids.com, or just scan this QR code. It'll bring you right to the site. Sam, thanks again. Amazing job.
Love you guys.
We love
Thank you.
You're doing good, girl.